Ever heard of a fish that gets lonely?
Not really.
It sounds kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah, kind
Like
of.
they just swim around all day.
Right.
But there's this fascinating story from Japan about a lonely sunfish. And it really makes you wonder just how much we know about, like, animal intelligence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like, we think we've got them figured out.
Exactly.
But then something like this pops up,
Yeah.
and you realize we still got a lot to learn.
Yeah. So to set the scene, can you tell us what exactly happened at this aquarium?
Okay, so this all took place at the Kaikyokan Aquarium in Japan.
Okay.
And they were closed for renovations, which is like pretty standard procedure for aquariums. You know, they got to do maintenance and stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But during this time, one of the residents, a sunfish, started acting super weird, like really unusual behavior.
Oh no, what kind of weird?
Well, first of all, it stopped eating, which for a sunfish is a huge red flag.
Yeah, I mean,
And it was constantly rubbing itself against the tank walls.
ouch.
Yeah, it seemed really distressed.
So what did the staff think was going on? Like, did they have any ideas?
Well, at first they thought it was some sort of physical problem, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Like maybe parasites or some kind of digestive issue.
Uh,
But then one of the staff members, Mai Kato, had like a,
aha moment.
yeah, aha moment. She remembered how this sunfish had always been super curious and interactive,
Really?
especially with visitors.
So it was like a friendly sunfish.
Yeah, it would always swim right up to the class,
Ah,
seemingly watching people as they walked by.
that's so cute.
I know, right? And it would even follow them along the tank.
No way.
Yeah. Kato even described its personality as almost like dog-like in its eagerness to interact with people.
Ah, that's adorable.
Right.
So I'm guessing this kind of got the staff thinking that maybe, just maybe,
Maybe it was lonely.
yeah.
Exactly. They realized that, like, with no visitors around, plus being all alone in its tank, it was probably experiencing some serious emotional distress.
Wow. It's kind of like those stories from the pandemic, you know?
Right.
Like zoos holding video calls for their animals and stuff.
Yeah, totally. It's realizing that captivity, even if you're giving them food and shelter,
Yeah.
can still have these like unforeseen psychological impacts.
Especially for animals that are usually social.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the staff, they wanted to try and help this sunfish, right?
Yeah.
So they went for a pretty unorthodox solution. It was kind of a last-ditch effort, to see if they could improve its well-being.
Okay, so this is where the photos come in, right?
Yes.
They put, like, pictures of people near the tank.
Right. Pictures of human faces, like smiling faces.
Yeah.
And they, like, attach them to staff uniforms.
Yeah.
And place the uniforms around the tank.
So it was like people were there, even though they weren't.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely a long shot. I mean, who knows if it would work, right?
Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, but
But they were desperate to help.
I get it. So did it actually work?
You're not going to believe this, but yeah, it actually did.
No way.
The sunfish's health, like, drastically improved.
Wow. What happened?
It started eating again, and the staff even saw it, like, waving its fins around.
So it was happy?
Well, with sunfish, it's hard to say for sure if it's, like, happiness the way a dog wags its tail,
Yeah.
But it was definitely a positive change.
Yeah, for sure.
Way better than just lying around all listless.
Makes sense. It's just wild to think that something so simple, just pictures,
Right.
could make such a huge difference.
Yeah, it really shows you the power of visual stimuli, and maybe even like a basic form of social recognition.
So it, like, recognized the faces.
We don't know for sure. It's not like scientifically proven, but it's definitely an interesting observation.
Yeah, totally. So what about the internet? Did this story, like, blow up online?
Oh yeah, big time. The aquarium posted about the lonely sunfish, and it went viral.
Wow.
People from all over the world were like sending support, sharing their own photos and videos of the sunfish from when they'd visited the aquarium,
Oh, that's sweet.
and promising to visit again once it reopened.
That's a nice ending to the story.
It really captured people's hearts.
Yeah, definitely. But it also brings up some important questions, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, should we even be keeping sunfish in captivity in the first place?
Exactly. They're not your average aquarium fish,
Right, they're huge.
Huge. This one was 80 centimeters long and weighed almost 30 kilograms.
Whoa.
Yeah. They need these massive tanks, and their diet is super specialized.
Oh, what do they eat?
Mostly jellyfish,
Oh, wow.
which can be tough to, like, source consistently for an aquarium.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be tricky.
Right. So while this story, has a happy ending, it makes you think
Yeah.
about the ethics of it all.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, are we really meeting their needs?
Yeah. Like, we can give them food and a place to live, but what about their emotional needs?
Yeah, especially for a social fish like this sunfish.
Exactly.
It's definitely something to think about. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into this amazing story, what's like the main takeaway you want listeners to remember?
Hmm. I'd say the biggest thing is that the animal world is full of surprises.
For sure.
Like, we're always learning new things about animal intelligence, their behavior, their emotions. This story really shows us that we shouldn't underestimate animals.
Yeah, they're more complex than we realize.
Exactly.
That's a great point. And for everyone listening, here's something to ponder. We've learned that this sunfish really seem to need social interaction, right?
Yeah.
So could we design aquariums differently?
Yeah.
Like, in a way that supports their psychological well-being even more?
That's a good question. I'd love to see what people come up with.
Yeah, me too.